What is up, guys? It is finally week 0 of college football. We got some good games today going on today. Not the best games, but we got some pretty good games going on. So I'm going to be putting my predictions for the games this Saturday, and then I am also going to start off with my preseason top 25 poll right before the season starts. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. So I'm going to be comparing my AP pool, which is called the TP pool, to the AP pool. Coming in at number 25 for the AP pool, they have BYU. BYU is a pretty solid team. I don't have them in my top 25, but if I had a top 30, they would be in that. But number 25 for me is West Virginia. I do have West Virginia doing pretty solid this year, and I think they're a top 25 team with J.D. Daniels at quarterback. But, I mean, AP people don't agree on this one, so who do you like better, West Virginia or BYU? Coming in at number 24, the AP pool and the TP pool, we both have Houston. We both have probably Houston winning the American. Houston's going to be contending with Cincinnati for the American Championship. But all in all, I do think Houston's a top 25 team this year. And I do think they will surprise some people this year. At number 23, the AP pool has Cincinnati. Unfortunately, I do not agree with this. I do think Cincinnati will fall back. I do not think they're a top 25 team, but I'd have them in the top 35. Coming in at number 23 for me, I have the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss's offense is just absolutely crazy good. They do play in the SEC, so they're not the best in the SEC, but they're not the worst. I think they're a top 25 team overall, and I have them sitting at number 23. Coming in at number 22 in the AP pool, Wake Forest is there. I think Wake Forest is going to take a step back this year, and I don't see them being as good as they were last year. Coming in at number 22 for me is the overrated squad in Minnesota. Minnesota is a team that has been very solid recently. Last year they lost a couple games they should have won, but this year I have them doing pretty good. I feel like they're a top 25 team with Ibrahim coming back and then Morgan coming back for his senior year. I just think this team is going to be a scary team in the Big Ten West this year. Finishing at number 21 in the AP pool is the Ole Miss Rebels. Like I said, I have them at number 23 in mine. But finishing at 21 for me, I have Kentucky. Kentucky is also a very well-rounded team, a very solid team in the SEC. I do think they're a top 25 team talent-wise, and I do think they will finish in the top 25. I have them I have them starting at 21 in the TP pool. Coming in at number 20 in the AP pool, there's Kentucky, who I just mentioned is my 21. But number 20 for me, this actually might be a shock to some people. I have Baylor. Baylor did lose a lot of talent in the draft this year, and I'm just not very high on them as most people are. I just had to have them taking a small step back this year. But starting off the season, I have them at number 20. Finishing 19 in the AP pool, the Arkansas Razorbacks is where the AP pool has them at 19. Finishing 19 for me, I have Nebraska. Nebraska is a team that could go 10-2, 7-5, or literally like 2-10. They have the talent this year. They got a new transfer quarterback who I think is really solid. And last year they were in a close game, and I think this year they're going to be able to figure it out and finish a lot of the games. But talent-wise, I do think Nebraska is in the top 25, and I had them at 19. But number 18 in the AP pool, they have Wisconsin. 18 for me is Oklahoma State. They did lose a lot of key defensive players. They lost a lot of transfers, and they lost their defensive coordinator. We could probably flip-flop Baylor and Oklahoma State for me, because I do feel like both teams are going to take a step back. But in my opinion, I have Oklahoma State, just talent-wise, being at 18. Do I have them finishing at that place? I don't know yet. But starting out the season, I do have them at 18. Number 17 in the AP pool is Pittsburgh. For me, Pittsburgh is not on my top 25. They lost a lot of talent. I don't think their defense is going to be as good. And their offense is definitely not going to be as good. They lost Addison and Kenny Pickett this year. I just don't see this team being a really top 25 team this year. Number 17 for me, I have NC State. This team has made a huge jump these last couple years. They've got a very solid recruiting class. took down Clemson last year, and in terms of talent, I have them at number 17. They could even be lower on the list, but for now, they're at 17 for me. Not finishing again, but in the AP pool at number 16, they have the Miami, Florida Hurricanes. 16 for me is USC. USC went 4-8 last year, which is absolutely terrible. They got a new coach in Lincoln Riley, new quarterback in Caleb Williams, new wide receiver in Addison. I do think this offense is going to be a very top-tier offense this year. Defense might need some work, but in terms of talent, this team is a top 16 team, maybe even a top 10 team, but for now I have them sitting at 16 in my rankings. Number 15 in the A before they have Michigan State. Number 15 for me, I have Wisconsin. Wisconsin is going to have one of the best run games in the nation this year, and I feel like offensively they're talented, and I'm hearing a lot of talk and rumors that Wisconsin's passing game has gotten a lot better this year. I don't think it's going to be, but I don't think it's going to get much worse than it was last year. I think it can be a little better. But in terms of talent, I have Wisconsin sitting at number 15 for my rankings. In the AP pool at number 14, they have USC. I agree, they should be around there. But number 14 for me is Michigan State. Michigan State has improved their secondary a little bit. And they did lose Kenneth Walker, but I do feel like Peyton Thorne's going to take a next level up. And they did get a transfer running back from Wisconsin. He's a very solid running back. And they still got Jalen Naylor on the offensive side. Defense is going to be a little better, and their offense is going to be a little worse. But all in all, they are a top 15 team for me, and I have them sitting at number 14. Number 13 in the AP pool, they have NC State. I don't disagree with this. I think they're a pretty solid team, and they deserve to be that high. But number 13 for me is Arkansas. Arkansas is probably one of the most underrated teams heading into the college football season this year. I'm just not even going to look at their schedule. I'm going to base it off of straight talent and how good I think this team is. On paper, I think this team is top 10, but I do have them sitting at 13 because the teams ahead of them, I think, are a little bit better. But Arkansas is a very solid and underrated team this year. Most people don't see it, but man, I see it. And Arkansas is going to be a surprise to a lot of people, and they're going to make some upsets in the SEC this year. Number 12 in the AP pool, they got Oklahoma State. Like I said, this team's a pretty solid team. I don't think they're top 12, but I have them maybe like top 17 at most. Number 12 for me, I have Miami Hurricanes. Miami is also a team who's had a lot of transfers and a great recruiting class. Miami is a team every year where they have all the talent, but they can never get the job done. This year, since this is based basically off of talent, I do have Miami sitting at number 12. I could see them being top 10 as well, but Miami does choke a lot, so I have them sitting at number 12 in my rankings. Coming into number 11, the AP pool has Oregon. Oregon is on my list, but they're a little bit lower. I'm very high on Oregon this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won the Pac-12. But coming in at number 11 for me, I have Notre Dame. I feel like this team's always an overrated team. The quarterback situation is not looking good over there. The run game is pretty decent. They got a really good tight end, good O-line, but you're not going to win games without a good quarterback. And Notre Dame's quarterback is just, I don't think he's going to be as good. Their defense is pretty solid, but they did lose Kyle Hamilton, and I feel like he was a big part of that defense last year. So I do think Notre Dame would be a top 15 team, and have them coming in at number 11 in my rankings. Finishing 10 in the AP pool, they have the Baylor Bears. 10 for me is Penn State. I just don't understand why Penn State is getting severely underrated. Like, they're not even ranked in the AP top 25. Penn State wasn't even a bad team last year. Yes, they did lose to Illinois, and I'm very aware of that. But Penn State, in terms of talent-wise, they got Sean Clifford coming back. They did lose Dotson, but I still think that wide receiving core is pretty solid. The run game in Penn State is always fairly good. O-line looks decent. Penn State's defense did hold Michigan last year, even though Michigan got a game-winning touchdown, but they stopped the Michigan offense. Ohio State did score some points, but the Penn State defense played good in that game. Penn State is not a bad team at all this year, and I'm surprised not enough people are high on them. They come in at number 10 in my power rankings. Number 9 in the AP pool, they have Oklahoma. Number 9 for my rankings, I have Texas A&M. Texas A&M team is also a team with all the talent in the world, but they can never get the job done. Based off of talent and how good of a team they are, though, I have them sitting at number 9. They do get a lot of transfers. They don't really have that much chemistry, though. They did get an upset win at Alabama last year, and that was pretty cool. But they are a top 10 team this year based off of talent, and I have them sitting at number 9 in my power rankings. Sitting at number 8, which I think is severely disrespectful, is the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan did lose Hutchinson, Ojabo, and Daxton Hill, but the Michigan D-line is projected to get more sacks this year. Secondaries looked very solid in training camp, and the only bad thing I have on Michigan is the QB situation, but I don't really think you can go wrong with either Cade or J.J. McCarthy. McCarthy is obviously a high-risk, high-reward type of guy, while Cade is a game manager. But apparently Cade has looked just as good, but maybe even better, according to Jim Harbaugh. But J.J. McCarthy is right up there. So based on terms of talent, Michigan's quarterback, I think they're pretty solid. Their running backs are Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum. They're very solid. And then the wide receiving core, they have Ronnie Bell back. The wide receiving core depth chart is kind of insane. Roman Wilson, Mark Sandstrel, who is playing defense this year too. A.J. Henning. Having Michigan at 8 is kind of disrespectful. I have them lower on the list. But number 8 for me, I have Oregon. Oregon has a chance of having a very solid season this year. I could see them giving Utah a run for their money. They now have Bo Nix at quarterback, and I would not be shocked if Oregon pulls it out in the Pac-12 just based on the talent they got. They lost Kayvon, but I feel like the Oregon defense already played enough games without Kayvon last year to where they're ready, and Bo Nix is ready to lead that Oregon team. Number 7 in the AP pool is Utah. I have Utah a little bit lower on the list, but coming in at number 7 for me, I have Oklahoma. Oklahoma lost a lot of people, including Caleb Williams and their coach Lincoln Riley. But they did also get a lot of transfers. Based on talent, I feel like Oklahoma is a top 10 team. I have them sitting at number 7 for me. I do have them probably going to be winning the Big 12 this year, but based on talent, they are a top 10 team, and I have them at number 7. Number 6 in the AP pool is Texas A&M. Like I said, I already have them at 9. Coming in at 6 for me is Clemson. I'm not sure why Clemson is starting to get a little bit overrated. Like having them at 3, which is, in the top 4, I feel like that's a little overrating Clemson. So I have them sitting at 6. They do have a lot of talent, but they had a lot of talent last year, and you saw how that went. I do expect a bounce back here from Clemson, but in terms of talent, I've had them at number 6. Number 5 in the power rankings is Notre Dame. Like I said, Notre Dame's overrated every single year. That's why I have them sitting at number 11 in mine. But number 5 for me, I have Georgia. They lost a lot of talent. They lost George Pickens, Tavon Walker, Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis. They did get some new recruits and stuff, but all in all, I feel like this team got a little worse. That's why they're a little bit down on my rankings. But number 5 is pretty solid for Georgia, in my opinion, and I do expect them to be pretty solid this year. Number 4 in the power rankings for the AP pool is Clemson. Like I said, I have them at 6. Number 4 for me is Utah. Utah is just great on both sides of the ball. A big thing I do like about Utah is their special teams. As you saw in the Pac-12 championship, the special teams balled out, which led Utah over Oregon last year. Utah and Oregon is going to be a close game this year, in my opinion. Both teams are very solid offensively and defensively and on special teams. I'm looking forward to that matchup, but Utah is going to come in at number 4 in my power rankings. Finishing 3rd in the AP pool, they have Georgia. Like I said, Georgia's my 5. Number 3 for me is Michigan. I've already kind of explained how they got Cade McNamara, J.J. McCarthy at quarterback, Edwards, Corum at running back, wide receiving core stacked. O-line might be even better than last year. D-line's projected more sacks. Secondary, I feel like they will get more turnovers this year. I do think they will let up more big plays, but I feel like Michigan's defense is going to be back, and same as last year, maybe even better. And if they're all worse, it's going to be a little bit worse. But Michigan at 3 is my pick for my rankings. Coming in at 2, AP pool and my pool, we both have Ohio State. Ohio State's offense is just absolutely cracked this year. Big three is going to be C.J. Stroud, Henderson, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. My only worry for Ohio State is if they're able to get off to a hot start against Notre Dame, because they got some new receivers in there. Olave and Wilson left. Defensively, they got the defensive coordinator from Oklahoma State and a couple transfers from there. If they're able to stop the run this year, this should be pretty solid. Ohio State and Michigan are very close in my opinion. Most people would think Ohio State's, like, last year was a fluke game. I don't think a 15-point win is a fluke game. But Ohio State comes in at number 2 in my power rankings in terms of talent. Number 1 in both AP polls should be obvious is Alabama. They might have the best offensive player in the nation in Bryce Young, and then also the best defensive player in Will Anderson Jr. Both those guys are going to be in the Heisman race. There's not much to say about Alabama. They're the most talented all around. They have the best coach, and their special teams is also very solid. Alabama is a clear 1 right now, and I don't think this team is probably going to win the national championship this year. But who do you have as number 1 in the AP pool? There's not much going on in the Week 0 football, so I'm going to do a couple games. First game, we got Nebraska at Northwestern. I don't really see this game being that close. I do have Nebraska winning this game pretty easily. I am very high on Nebraska this year, and I wouldn't be shocked if they just absolutely steamroll Northwestern. I have them winning 44-17. And then another game for Week 0 is Vanderbilt and Hawaii. Hawaii is a team I could see pull off this upset. It's not really an upset since it's Vanderbilt, but I'm going to roll with Vanderbilt in this one, winning 27-21 in a close one. I still can't wait for Week 1, but Week 0 is here, and it's just exciting. I'm just excited for college football to start. Comment who you have running those games. Comment what you think about my top 25 and what you would change. If I missed a team, tell me why you think they should be ranked on the top 25. But until then, thank you guys for watching, and I can't wait to post my new video. And thank you guys for everything.